Hey everybody, I'm back. So, when the electricity goes out in your condo and the internet drops, what do? First, you call the property manager to complain that said electricity was turned off without any warning. And then you come down to the pool area where it's a little quieter and there's internet. And you get back on your live. That's what you do when you're in the DR. So, I'm just going to start over. So for those of you who are joining me, please make sure that you drop your name, how we met, where you're tuning in from. So for those of you who don't know me, we are new. We're just meeting today. My name's Nat. My family and I relocated to the Dominican Republic in April. And today is all about how shifting changed my perspective when I started working on chips. And the underlying theme is really about change. It's really about how does that look for you? What does it feel like? And for some of us, changing can be a real challenge, and that's okay. But if you know that you need to change, you know that you're not feeling all the good feels anymore, how do you do that? And back in 1998, I had completed that thing that I promised myself I would do. I promised myself that I was going to go to university after I finished college. So check, I did that. And I went to the University of Toronto, and my father at the time said, "Why don't you go to a school closer to home?" And I said, "Well, it's too close. I want adventure." And I have an aunt and uncle that lived there and welcomed me for a year, and then I moved out on my own. And while I lived in Toronto, I went to university part-time. I had at least 2 to 3 jobs, consistently, because at the time, right, the rent and expenses were pretty high. So, I'm sure they're much higher now. And at the end of those 4 years, I could feel the rumbling in my belly. I could feel like, something's got to give, because that spring I decided to take a sabbatical after my classes had finished in Montreal. I went and spent a month in Montreal with my sister and my brother, and we partied like rock stars. So we did all of Saint Denis Street, Saint Laurent. We shopped, we dropped, we ate well, we drank well. And I really got the good feels for Montreal again. And I thought, maybe that's where I need to go back. Montreal was the safe haven. It's what I knew. It was comfortable. Where family was, it's where all my friends, my college friends, my high school friends were, family as well. And then Toronto had been like this new land of opportunity. I don't want to say more diverse, but I seem to have met more people in Toronto from different parts of the world. I'm back. The internet here isn't as strong either, I see. So I decided that Toronto was the land of opportunity and connections, that I wanted something more. And I had friends working on cruise ships. Oh my goodness. And it sounded so prestigious, to go work on a cruise ship. So I kind of jumped in like with 2 feet, 2 hands, my whole body. I've always been known to be thorough. So I actually got 3 different names to 3 different people in the company with Royal Caribbean International. Everybody got my resume. I figured you throw enough crap against the wall, some of it's going to stick, and somebody is going to, "Hey, how are you, darling? She is one of my shipmates." Eventually something was going to stick, right? And the more I researched, the more it felt good. The more I heard from friends that were out there, the more it felt good. And those of us who have worked on ships, there's a resiliency that I can't explain. There's something that there's an understanding. And it made me laugh, because when I came back to Montreal eventually, and people, would be like, oh, it's the weekend. I was like, oh my God, I love the weekend. The weekend is the best, because when you're on ships, you never have a weekend. It's 7 days for 6 months. There are no breaks. There's no weekends. There's no days off. So now weekends, at the time weekends, I savored them. These 2 full days of not having to go to an office walk across a deck. It was glorious. Somebody give me an amen if you understand. So it all sort of lined up. It felt right, this whole idea of traveling, of experiencing something different, of the unknown scared me, but it was a scare that felt like exhilarating. You know what I mean? If that resonates with you, let me know. Tell me about a time that you felt that sort of exhilaration. You were like freaking scared, but you were like, yes, gonna do it anyways. And it really unfolded quite magically. And I'm a big believer of things happen for a reason. I'm a big believer that, the universe has my back. And I don't know that I called it that back then, but I knew that something good was going to happen. And, I had been working with kids for about 8 years at that point. So I applied to work in the youth staff program. And the day that I was working in Toronto, it was like a camp day. It was a Friday, and I wasn't feeling well. So I said to my manager, would it be okay if I just went home? I'm just not feeling well. I'm not feeling this bowling thing either. Said, sure, no problem. Headed back home. Little did I know that my phone would ring when I walked through the door. And I got a call from a gentleman named Charlie McDonald. And he was calling from Royal Caribbean International. And it ended up being an interview, not an interview, conversation. And he was looking for more youth staff members, which is exactly what I wanted. So when I asked him, after this long conversation of asking me, where, what I believed in, how to deal with kids, and all the standard questions you would ask somebody that's going to work with kids, I asked him, well, where am I going? And he says, I'm not sure, but have you ever been to Alaska? Alaska. First of all, I thought I'd just be going to the Caribbean because I thought that's where ships went. But heck no. They were going to Alaska. And it was like, oh my God, I'm going to go on a ship across Canada. I'm going to meet this ship across Canada and Vancouver, and I'm going to go to Alaska. I was freaking out. And here I stood all by myself in my apartment, and nobody, I was all alone. Pretty sure my long distance bill got racked up that day from calling everybody back home. This idea of adventure just consumed me. It was everything I wanted, everything I desired, and more. And I'm not going to give you the exact timeline, but I'm going to say I probably took less than 2 weeks to pack up my apartment, do a medical, drive all my stuff to my mom and dad's in Quebec, drive all the way back, and my good friend Linda DaCosta, she was my my navigator sidekick for that whole adventure. Got back to Toronto, and I hopped on a plane. I didn't even have my welcome aboard package because it came a day late. I flew in this, oh my gosh, I flew in the most beautiful plane. I don't know what it was. It was an Air Canada, but it was plush. Those seats were so nice. I had one of the nicest seats. The plane was empty, and I thought, if this is cruising, I'm going to get used to this. And I landed in Vancouver, and it was so easy. It was seamless. I just went from one step to the next without any glitches. And when you truly desire and know what it is, and you can get unstuck, that feeling, that mesmerizing feeling, will show up. When you know that you truly desire, what is the thing that you want? And I knew I wanted to travel, and I knew I wanted to experience different things. Toronto had served me the way it needed. Even though I was leaving friends, a boyfriend, family behind, not behind, but I was leaving them and I was moving forward, they were always going to be there. Well, the boyfriend, I lost him. That was fine. It never occurred to me back then that I was being a badass, because I was called that just recently by my good coach. And it never occurred to me to give myself this label. And I don't know that I want to be a badass. I don't know if I ever set out for that. But I'm recognizing it. I'm owning it. I'm embracing it right now, because we have to be badasses. We have to know what we want, especially today, right now. And I was going to wait till tomorrow to announce this, but I don't want to wait, really. I want you to know that I'm here. If you feel a little bit of a badassery in you and you're not stuck, I'm looking to have 3 conversations with 3 badass women who want to step, and those calls are really about seeing where you're stuck. Where is it you want to go? What is it going to look like to get there? And it's about you figuring that out. It's a conversation, and I want to have that conversation with you. I'm going to put the link to my calendar in the comments. You just click on it, book a time, and let's chat. Let's A, catch up, B, figure out what it is that you're stuck on and where is it you want to go. What relocation do you want to make in your life? It may not be relocation like I'm doing or I've done. Maybe something else. But what does it look like for you? God, it feels so good talking about ships. I love ships. I miss ships. I miss my people. But I know that you're all over the world, and the day I call you, you're going to open the door and I'm going to walk right in and give you a big hug. So, for today, I leave you on that. Who are my badass women? And maybe you're a badass man and you need a conversation. That's good too. Let's chat. Let's do it today. Let's book that call and find out, get you from point A to point B, and what does that look like? And if it's a right fit, then we'll have a different conversation about how we can work together. Okay? But let's just start with a conversation. Whatever you choose to do today, have an incredible day. And who knows, maybe there'll be more ship stories to come. Have an incredible day. Bye for now.